here's what Breaking Bad really is. It's when you go from poverty mindset, you can be Breaking Bad poverty mindset as well, but when your wealth mindset, you start to say the poverty people think that money is evil. That's a preconception that they think stops them from getting wealthy, when it's not evil. It's just an instrument that you can use for good or bad. No, the whole thing is fundamentally corrupt. It's based on debt, which is competition and hierarchy for a scarcity of resources. The system has to be based on mutual reciprocal symbioticism for it to be ethical. Everything else is unethical. So then when you try to chase wealth and you use debt as your capital to succeed, what you're doing is you're becoming a pawn or a minion to the evil dictators who dish out this bills to you for you to grow your wealth in your businesses, when your businesses are based on giving them the money. And the money they use to enslave everyone. And so slavery is not just chains, or it's not the old form, it's the new form. There's different forms of it, and debt is this one. And the whole fundamental concept of wealth, if you're using even Bitcoin, okay, if you're using monetary system or digital currencies, what's wrong with digital currencies is they're based on finite system. That's even worse than a monetary system, because at least in the monetary system, you can inflate it. You can keep printing it and make it go and go and go, even though it's overinflated, which means it doesn't actually represent the amount of resources on Earth. So that's a problem. But then when you switch to digital currency, now you're talking about hoarding the money, and there's only a limited amount. That's worse. What you really need to do is have eventually no currency, but a transitory currency that actually is based on, a digital currency, but not Bitcoin, not the megaliths. A currency that's based on actual resources, not just sources. That's a whole nother topic, but resources. Sources that can continue to continue, like over and over and over and over and over. And the only thing really that's a resource, one of the only things on Earth, is fruit. Because the plant is A, alive, and B, willing and evolved to mutually benefit the plant and all life. Name one other thing on this earth that does that. That's how freaking powerful fruit is. And the digital currency, the transitory currency, to get us out of this current global system to our new global system, the Hydroverse, which is based on only fruits, will most likely, I'm still figuring it out, but most likely be based on like grass, amount of pieces of grass are like cents, and like maybe like an apple or something, the base unit fruit would be like the dollar. And so like you literally count them, and that's your currency. And it's not really that big of a deal that this isn't figured out perfectly right now, because there's a bunch of stages and steps that have to be involved to even get us to that being our fundamental point. But we could do this all in overnight, basically, like substantial change overnight, if everyone came together immediately. So Hydroverse.com, and to learn why I'm even spouting this garbledy-gook, is that there's an entire course based on this information, and this base information is physiological laws of orthopathy of the universe that are based on science. And you may not find this in scientific peer-reviewed journals today because that's out of allopathic system. And for the most part, this type of science hasn't been conducted yet through rigorous peer-reviewed, but it has been proven. It doesn't even need these reviews. It's been proven time and time again through obvious results from people having serious symptoms. Almost 99% of humanity has serious symptoms. You don't even realize it. You just accept premature death. You just accept premature aging, premature pain as natural and necessary. You accept that since the day you were born, that sniffling, coughing, sneezing, stinky poop, stinky armpits, chapped lips, rashes, skin breaks, gunked up eyes, boogers, earwax, all this stuff is natural, but these are symptoms. You're diseased. None of this stuff exists in true well humans. And so you actually can easily scientifically prove something that's obvious. And so we don't have to wait for the peer-reviewed journals to come out, but we can start conducting thousands of them immediately, and they will prove exactly right. There actually is a place called True North Wellness Center that has conducted some scientific studies, but this place isn't the optimal place to learn from, although they do have some studies that do help things out in some way, but it doesn't matter. What matters is taking the course, Hyginstitute course, so you can understand all this in its depth of its entirety. It's the most important information on earth.